this video we're going to take you through the side volley. One of our goalkeepers has asked us to put on a little tutorial for this. It's actually quite complicated and it is extremely difficult. So we're going to take you through some exercises you can do to practice all the different stages. There's around 5 to 7 stages here, so we're going to work on your starting position, how you feed the ball, what you do with your standing leg, where you connect with the ball and what height you connect with the ball. Okay, and we're going to talk about the follow through afterwards, and inside there is also a little step. So the first part of this session we're going to do it without a ball, and we're going to try and get you to move in the correct way when lining yourself up to do this technique. Just to sidetrack, there was a goalkeeper called Brian Jensen who played for Burnley, and he came out and said that he practiced this technique off of a cone for a year before he brought it into an actual game. So the biggest key to all of this is practice. Don't just do it 4 times. You're going to have to continue practicing this technique till you've got it to a point where you're happy with it. Not it should be done like this, it should be done like that. It's you're happy and you're delivering the right penetrative ball that you want to when kicking the ball. Also, with our visualization work, if there's a keeper that you like that does it well, look at the way they do it and then try and adopt those techniques. So we have a 2x2 square, and we do our goal kicks in squares to compact the technique, so less room for error. Alright, so if we are going to be kicking the ball down there, our first thing is our stance. So our shoulder needs to be facing to where we would be kicking the ball. I don't have a ball at the moment because we want to practice the movement. Okay, so from here there is a step in between, then we open our body out, and this is when we bring our leg through to the ball. Obviously we don't spin, but we bring the foot down and we snap it forward. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So we're here, we go step, open, strike. Now, getting your leg around hip height is where we make contact with the ball. So even if you do want to just stand there like this and practice this movement there, because it is sitting in to get that movement there. We don't want to be up too straight. So again, step, in and strike. Okay, once more. So we set, step forward, open the hips out, sit into it and strike the ball, snapping the leg down there. Now when we're doing our kicking from the floor, the speed that you bring this foot to the ball creates a bit of the power, and then this follow through helps as well. So just remember that power piggybacks on speed. Okay. Also in this, when we do go through it, we're not going to try and kill the ball, we're not going to whack it. And when you are practicing with a ball, do it over a short distance. Don't create impossible targets. Just get the movement right and then slowly build and build. Right, so now I have a ball. Obviously, if you've gone through the visualization work, okay, or the ghost work, which was just sitting here, stepping forward, opening out, sitting in, and bringing the leg through, you could now have maybe a ball on a cone or a ball in a net hanging down off of a goal to practice that technique. But now we are going to bring the ball, and we're going to talk about where we're going to drop it from, or where it starts to where we drop it from. So we're not throwing it up, okay, and we do still want to try and hit the ball at hip height. Right? So we don't want the ball in too close, and we don't want it straight, we want it bent there. Okay? Here we're going to find ourselves making the wrong connection, and we may lose control of this ball. So here's a good example. I've got a ball in a ball net, and I've positioned the goal with our square that hasn't moved. So now we're going to be working that last kicking of the hip out, so we can step, open out and kick the ball. So you could get someone to hold this, but it might be a bit risky. So again, we're here, step, open up, kick the ball. Now we can just do this final part here, so we sit in, just to get that movement. So we're just sitting in there, just building that muscle memory. So now we are actually going to work at feeding that ball, another little tip for you is you could use a plastic 99p ball to help with less restriction, because obviously it's a lot lighter, a lot easier to kick, and it'll be much better for you while practicing, especially in small spaces, to use this sort of ball, because we are only looking to get this technical part done first, and then you can bring in the bigger ball. So the next part of this, breaking down the technique, is we are just going to look at the last final bit for feeding the ball. So we are going to be in our open stance here, ready to squat in and then drop the ball here. So we would be bringing the ball from there, so we're just going to take it out and then drop it and meet it as it drops. We're not throwing the ball up. Now I've put a small target to try and get ourselves lined up more than anything. So if we were to build this out, we're lining ourselves up to hit this jacket. This could be a server down a little bit further on, or a post or a mannequin, just to help with a bit of success, okay? And where you need to correct, if it did go off a bit to the right or a bit to the left, or where if it went down, then obviously when we're trying to connect with the ball, we're just below centre here. If we get too much under it, it's going to go up. If we get too much on top of it, it's going to go down. But just remember those when we are deciding what we want to do with the ball. So if we do want to put the ball up, then hit it under more. Okay, but the idea for this kick initially is to hit it just below centre, so it's an arrow and it turns the back four, and it's very hard to react to. So our final part in this side volley is a full walkthrough of the session. So we're going to start here with the ball low. We're going to step, open the body out, drop it, and into the connection there. Now snapping will create the power, a bit more speed on the ball to get it obviously a little bit further. As you can tell, I've got quite a relaxed stance, and that's so when you've done your walkthrough and you feel like you're kicking well, then just relax and have a bit of fun with it. Okay, use your square as a reference, and you could start to bring a little bit more movement into it, but remember that you're not going to do it right every time, and we can come back to this square, we can come back to the pre-flight checks of this kick to get everything tailored back. So remember, we've set up a square, we've gone through a ghost version of the session, so our shoulders pointing to where we're going to kick, we have a ball in our hands at our hip, there's a first little step, then as we open up, we bring the ball up and we sit and then drop from shoulder height and meet at hip height and snap round right at the end. So that's it broken down. So you have the stance at the start, the feed, remember, is from hip to shoulder and dropped, not a straight arm but a bent arm. We've got where we're connecting the ball, just below middle and at hip height. Remember, visualization work's important, and muscle memory work, or going through the session like a ghost session, so just getting the final movements in place just to keep working that technique. But again, don't put yourself under too much pressure, set it up in a fun environment and then go away and work on the smaller stuff in a smaller space. I know this doesn't look fun, it doesn't look great, it doesn't look like we're pinging massive balls everywhere, but at the start we said practice, practice, practice and hard work. You will master this technique over time. So remember, our key points are our starting position, our little mini step, our feed, where we hit the ball in relation to height, where we're connecting with the ball, what are we doing with our standing leg, opening it out, and then the final follow through here. And within the feed, we don't have a straight arm or compressed arm, it's a bent arm.
I'm Remy Matthews, come join me at Cells Pro Training.
Train like me, train like the pros at Cells Pro Training.